Hi, Armand here to discuss Jupiter in Libra. Jupiter is going to be in Libra from September of 2016 through October of 2017. But before we discuss Jupiter in Libra, let's talk about going to the Integral Astrology website, integralastrology.net, where you can get monthly forecasts, you can get articles, you can get consultations. You can get all kinds of stuff at integralastrology.net, and so take a trip over there. Don't forget to look at the calendar of events. There are always at least one webinar a month, usually a free one, and then again something else that you could pay a little bit for if that's more for astrologers. But there's always an introductory webinar. And also, if you're watching this in the fall or late summer of 2016, it's getting time for ESAR 2016, and you'll want to check that out. Now, on to Jupiter in Libra. Well, let's start with Jupiter in Virgo. Jupiter spent the last year in Virgo, and Jupiter in Virgo was important for helping us to understand that less is sometimes more. That's sort of the Jupiter in Virgo message. And it was a time to focus on health. It was a time to focus on maybe minimizing things, being a little bit more reserved with spending. It was a time of sort of cutting back in kind of a gentle, nice way. Sometimes you can just sort of appreciate the simple things: purity of food, taking good care of your health, and things like that. If you missed the Jupiter in Virgo message, don't worry. The north node of the moon continues to be in Virgo until March of 2017, and Regulus, the royal star, and I feel that Jupiter and the North Node were kind of heralding Regulus's move into Virgo a couple of years ago. Regulus will be in the sign until, for a few thousand years, and so you should have plenty of time to get the Virgo message. But right now, you might start thinking about Jupiter in Libra. Jupiter is expansive. Jupiter helps things to grow, helps things to it gives a little bit of benevolence and beneficence to whatever it touches. And Libra, is about balance, it's about relationship, it's about beauty. It's about art and beauty, but it's coloring within the lines, sort of art and beauty. It's not free-form improvisation. It's playing by the notes. Libra is a very mannered sign. Manners, politeness, graces, back and forth, taking the other person into account. And so Jupiter in Libra is going to Jupiter will bring his expansiveness to Libran things, just as he did to Virgoan things over the course of the past year. So Jupiter in Libra should be very good for relationship. Now, just let me put a little caveat in here. Jupiter tends to expand enthusiasm, inspiration for things. It makes us optimistic about them. We'd like to be optimistic about relationship. It doesn't necessarily, sort of fix everything. It just kind of makes you feel that you can fix things. It doesn't give you, it gives you some opportunities, but you still need to take advantage of them. I think Jupiter in Libra will help to greatly expand marriage equality, something that when Saturn was visiting the sign a few years ago, that became sort of the hot topic, and Saturn did the hard work, and I think Jupiter comes along to kind of expand things, make it a little bit more accepted, again, create a sort of optimistic feel around it. Jupiter in Libra should be great for formal occasions: weddings, bar mitzvahs, corporate events. Sound like a caterer. But those things, formal events that have a certain amount of structure to them, should really benefit from the Jupiter in Libra vibe. Jupiter in Libra should be very good for business, particularly, but not exclusively, but particularly things like mergers. The idea that we can take this and this and put it together. The same way that individual relationships do this, we can expect the same type of thing from corporations. But in general, it's good for sealing the deal, getting to what you want, and that sort of give and take, the sort of, we can work this out type of approach to things. I think that is something that we'll see quite a bit of with Jupiter in Libra. So it is good for getting to the deal, getting to the bottom line. But on the other hand, again, it creates the sense of optimism and possibility about it. It maybe adds a little bit more sociability to negotiations, a little bit more affability. It doesn't necessarily make the deal any better. It just sort of allows a little bit more give and take. A little bit on the dark side of Jupiter in Libra, uh, litigaciousness. The possibility that people will sort of take their matter to court and feel, hey, I could win this suit. So we may see a little spike in that type of thing, especially among prominent people, especially when corporations are trying to merge or trying to get together on something. You may see a lot of lawsuits around that type of thing. Let's look at each sign. Let's look at what each sign has to look forward to over the course of the coming year. And these I think that everybody takes some of the advantage of Jupiter and Libra in a general sense, but each sign has an area where maybe this will show up most directly. Again, and I'll remind you a couple more times, we're really talking about where you feel optimistic, where you feel buoyant, where you feel, hey, this is doable. It's still up to you to put in the work. Jupiter's like a bread maker. You get a bread maker. Somebody gives you a bread maker. And it's a nice gift, but you still have to put in the flour and the yeast and the water and plug it in and, wait 8 hours type of thing. So you still need to do some Saturnian work to make things pay off. But these are the areas that you're most likely to see a little something come your way, an opportunity, or a good feeling. For Libra, it's kind of like the get out of jail free card. Although don't get into jail, but Libras have the advantage of being able to use this in a general kind of way. So for Libra, it's just helpful. Scorpio, it's a little bit of a funny type of energy. You get the benefit from it, but you probably don't see exactly where it comes from. It's sort of like this sort of unseen hand helping you out. And it's a nebulous enough energy. It's great for spirituality, meditation practices, and things like that on a very concrete level. But in general, it's just sort of the unseen hand that comes and sort of helps you out when you don't expect it. Sagittarius. Well, Sag, you're having a hard year. Sag has been having a hard year since Saturn went into the sign. And with Saturn in Sagittarius, the normally buoyant balloon, the great balloon ride of Sagittarius has been kind of weighed down by the Saturnian weight, sort of tethering things down to the ground. For the past year, with Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, in Virgo, it's been kind of like you don't really have your landlord. You don't really have your your rich uncle whose house you live in. You don't really have him coming by to help out the way you might have at other times. Now that he's in Libra, you get a little bit more of a free hand. You feel the weight come off a little bit. Saturn is still in the sign, and you still have to deal with that. But with Jupiter in Libra, the ability to kind of work things out and the ability to feel a little bit better about things should be a big improvement. I think everybody who's Sagittarius Sun or Sagittarius Ascendant is going to feel a little bit of relief when Jupiter goes into Libra. So it's helpful for things like friendships, associations, your long-term aspirations, but really it's just helpful to have your guy sort of back online and ready to advocate. Capricorn, it's a pretty good energy for career. Again, we're talking opportunities more than certainties, but it is a good energy for career. Aquarius, I think that you'll find that this is something that can help in terms of travel. It can help in terms of higher education. If those are things that are of interest to you or on the agenda or on your responsibility list, then I think that you'll get a big boost out of Jupiter in Libra. Pisces. For Pisces, I think that this is a slightly difficult energy. It could be really good if you figured everything else out. It could be good for getting a loan. It could be good for, say, for example, getting a mortgage, dealing with banks and things like that. Of course, it's the opportunity. It doesn't mean it's a good idea, but it should help in terms of an opportunity with that type of thing. It also helps with more depth exploration types of things. So it's a good time to go into therapy. Probably find a nice therapist or something like that. It's not the ultimate thing, I guess. It's not the ultimate thing for Pisces, but it's pretty good. Aries, it should put the focus and the optimism and the sense of buoyancy on relationship. Although, of course, you have to maintain a sense of yourself. Uranus and Aries will help you do that, don't worry. But it'll be that kind of balance, that sort of back and forth balance between myself and the other person, between myself and relationship in general. So it's pretty good. Taurus, it probably helps in terms of health, and it helps in terms of work. It helps in terms of developing your skill set. It's kind of like Jupiter sort of stays in Virgo for Taurus, but you guys are fine, so it's not a worry. Um, Gemini, I know the order of the signs. Gemini, great for creativity, great for children, great for fun. Great for doing those types of things that really enrich you and make you feel good, helping you to really kind of feel the full energy of things. Whatever is sort of coming from the heart gets a boost. So Gemini, take it and run. Cancer, great for things having to do with the home, family, your nest. You may want to sort of beautify things, maybe buy a new place. Watch out you don't buy such a big place. Leo, it's very good for your daily routine. It should help your commute a little bit, which actually is not such a bad thing. You may want to go buy a big car. You may want to think a couple of times about that, but it is very good for communicating with siblings. It is very good for just the sort of daily routine. It's not dramatic, but it's not bad either. Libra isn't the sign that resonates the best with Leo, but you can definitely get some benefit out of it. And then there's Virgo. Well, you've had Jupiter in your sign, and now you have Jupiter moving forward. And it's not so bad, because the thing for Virgo is that it has mostly to do with finances. Again, we're talking about potential, we're talking about opportunities, we're talking about optimism more than we're talking about concrete manifestations. Like, we're sure it's going to be there. But who doesn't want some optimism? Who doesn't want some opportunities? So that's what Virgo is looking at. So Jupiter in Libra, it should be a change of energy that I think it'll feel more familiar. I think certainly in Western culture, and particularly in the United States, where there's this sort of, everything should be flowing along and let's make more out of things, it should feel better, than if things more back to normal than they were for the year that Jupiter was in Virgo. Developing your skill set, taking care of your health, and things like that. Not exactly the top thing on a lot of people's minds. But again, you can continue to do it, and you probably should continue to do it, but things will start to feel a little bit more back to normal. I think Leos will particularly take an advantage out of that, and Gemini as well. So, this is what I've sort of put together as a brief little 13-minute and 14-second summary of Jupiter in Libra. I want you to stop by integralastrology.net. I want you to stop by integralastrology.net, and hope to see you at ESAR.